Hello there.
Hello,
What is your name?
my name is Victor Lotta.
All right, Victor. And you stay here at the mission?
I do stay at the mission. I've been here about 3 weeks already. I am homeless, and recent homeless. I had a pretty successful, run in the car business for, 22 years. Started selling cars when I was 18. I'm 22 now. And I did really, really good for myself for a long time. Had some struggles hit me, and that's what brought me here to Mission 911.
Okay. Why don't you just give me the quick Cliff Notes version of your story?
Okay. I left the car business in 2018. I'm sorry, 2019 when my stepfather passed away. And, that left me to take care of my mother who had cancer. And so I did that, took care of her for about 2.5 years. And in that time, in 2020, I suffered a stroke from COVID. I was one of the first ones to be, hit with that epidemic. And it left me paralyzed at first to where I couldn't have any use of my left side, arm and leg. And I was in a wheelchair for 7 months. But I was told I would never walk again for the rest of my life. But through, inspiration, therapy on myself, I was able to go from wheelchair to walker, onto cane, onto free walking. And it's, my mother did pass away in 2021, early in 2021. And at that time, I didn't know, but she, and let me back up on that. I was, growing up, my parents, my stepdad and my mom were both atheists. They didn't believe in God. They didn't condone anything about us going to church or anything like that. God is a farce. And God, there is no God is what we were taught. And so up along that, my spiritual, cup was empty. And I didn't know. So, even to this day, I ask questions about the Bible, and I take things more in layman terms because I'm not familiar with, a lot of the prophecies and stories that go into the Bible or comes out of the Bible. Although I know God is real. And that's one thing I've learned is that He's real and it's all real. And I've got to see it firsthand. So when I had the stroke, after that she passed away, my family, my brother, got everything in the will. My mom's cousins own a funeral home, so they did some stuff with the will. My brother got everything. They came in and they removed me from the house. What happened was that, they kept harassing me here locally, and I spray painted on the house, keep out private property. So they called it criminal mischief. They had me arrested. I was arrested in early 2021, in jail for 9 months, waiting on COVID, waiting on court. I was indigent, didn't have an attorney, so I had to get a court-appointed attorney and wait for court. Due to COVID, it took a long time. Charges were dismissed, and I ended up getting out 9 months later for criminal mischief with no charges. So coming out, I'm homeless. And it's easy to become homeless. I didn't have anything saved. I did have some money saved, but it got taken in my mom's estate because my mom, I put a lot in her name too when I did work in the car business. And so I lost everything there. I lost my cars. I lost, I didn't have clothes on me or anything like that. In the jail, they even lost my clothes that I went in. So I didn't have any clothes at all. I had to take donations at the jail in the holding cell. Some of the guys, one guy gave me a pair of pants. One guy gave me a shirt. Another guy gave me extra underwear. So I had literally nothing with me from before. No ID, no paperwork, nothing. Since then, so I'd get out of jail, literally walk with a cane, which I didn't even have a cane at the time. I had to get a stick that I found outside the jailhouse. So I had to take a stick with pants that were 3 sizes too big. So I'm holding up my pants, and I took outside of the jail, I took a piece of a hanger and knotted it on my pants to where it's holding up my pants. Piece of hanger, and I'm walking with a stick because I can't walk without a cane. So I walk over to mother my child. She's staying off Buddy Lawrence. So from the jail there, it's about 2.5 miles. So I make it there. I end up staying there. and I can't stay there too long because she has 6 people that live in her house. So taking the couch there, I find out she is a raging alcoholic. And from there, for about 2 months, every day's a challenge, every day's a struggle. I feel so uncomfortable there. She's yelling at me all the time, urging me to go somewhere to live, and that she doesn't need to support me. So I go over to Good Samaritan, and Good Samaritan tells me that they can't take on my disability over there because it's a liability because they got a lot of stairs. So they refer me to Salvation Army. Well, due to a previous experience I've had with the neighbor around Mission 911, I remember this Mission 911 was here, so I walked to the Mission 911 from Good Samaritan, and I talked to Tony. And Tony says, I tell him my situation. He says, okay, are you clean? Yes, sir. And do you have a drinking problem or been convicted of a felony or anything like that? And I tell him about the charges that got dismissed when I did go to jail. And I tell him, the truth of my story. He refers me to come back the following week to go to a spiritual retreat called the Walk of Salome. So, okay, I commit to that. I come the next week with, he says, come the day before, just bring a sets of clothes for 4 days, which I do. And matter of fact, the clothes that I had, I did get from Church Unlimited, because every Wednesday they would have an offering to where they give food pantry and they give clothes. So I was doing that every week within that month and a half since I've been released from jail, to where I can go to Mission 911. And Tony has me come. I go to the retreat, and it changed my life. At the retreat, I'm talking to a lot of I'm a pilgrim. I believe there was 12 pilgrims there, and there was volunteers there that I got to sit down and chop it up with and have breakfast with and talk to them. And that's where some of them find out about my previous credentials as far as my car business experience, financial accounting, and everything like that. I've got a long resume to include over 22 years of sales and sales training, sales management, system process, system coordination. And, a lot of my personal development and motivation is what I have a hobby and interest in too, as far as training sales also. So a lot of the word gets around over there. One thing leads to another. So I come back from the mission. Tony keeps to his word, has a place for me to stay. I explain my situation, how, I don't have a job, I don't have any money. Matter of fact, I'm waiting on disability because I applied for disability in December. And now it's March and they still haven't gotten anything back to me. And I'm told they won't have anything for me till June. So disability is out of the question. So I had to find work. Little did I know, word got around so good with the retreat group that was there. Not even a day goes by and Tony tells me, hey, I need you to call this man. And he gives me a phone number. He gives me 2 phone numbers, and I call the man. And then turns out the man talked to another man that was at the retreat who owns a company. And he says, I need you to call Victor, which is me. I need you to get a hold of Victor and offer him this job. So I talked to the gentleman, and turns out he's got a job lined up for me in the accounting, bookkeeping, and marketing approach that he needs in San Antonio, because he has a company in the Valley, San Antonio, and Bryan, Texas. He says he hadn't had anybody in San Antonio in over a year. He said, I've got a building there with sleeping quarters, I've got a vehicle, and pay a salary too. So overnight, that happened. So we scheduled an interview, and I sent him my resume, so everything worked out. And Mission 911, they feed me, they clothe me, they give me shelter, everything like that. There's so many resources that I didn't know about that they offer. And even today, I just find out that they can help people with their electric bill for nothing. There's so many resources that Mission 911 has that just amaze me. I went to a meeting yesterday for Homeless Helping Homeless United, and it's here in Corpus Christi, and it's a focus group basically that talks about the challenges that the homeless face, and they've got funding available to help specific needs for homeless people. And when it got to we have to do a red light, green light approach whenever we go around the table, and there's about 8 of us. And my green light was everything I talked about on the up and up, as far as the good things I've been blessed with. Red light I mentioned was when I wake up here, it's a nice area. It's a bunk area, even though they also have single apartments too that are very either low cost or they take care of the indigent. And I mentioned how many empty bunks are here every morning. There's clean showers. There's good facility. It's a family atmosphere. How come people like this out there don't, they don't? That's what I question. How come people out there don't take advantage of such resources that Mission 911 gives? And that just blows my mind. There's across the street. They have free food on Wednesdays and Sundays at the station. Is what they call it. So I get to see a lot of homeless people there. All day, they walk up and down the street. There's so many homeless people in Corpus Christi that, either they know about this place or they don't want to know about this place, that they can take advantage of this place. In the little time that I've been homeless, I found out that there's so many resources for somebody like me. And that's because I have a disability at that too. I mean, there's only so many places I can go or so many things I can do. But to be disabled, to be given all these things without an ID, that's another thing. I've gone to MHID and they've helped me with birth certificate. They're helping me get an ID. There's so many resources and bus passes that they're giving me, to where they can give you transportation, clothing. This place gives you shelter. There's a kitchen full of food. There's so many things that we can take advantage of. People don't. I really, really believe that if people know in their hearts and their minds that if they push forward and if they take advantage of the resources that Mission 911 gives, just give these guys an opportunity, they take care of the rest. There's only effort is what you need. And I believe that very strongly. Thank you, Mission 911.
So, how do you feel about the opportunity that's opened up before you here in San Antonio?
It's a blessing. I mean, just to go to a retreat like I was asked to, and just to leave it in God's hands, I feel just amazed that it spawned off of that. Had I not gone to this retreat, that opportunity wouldn't have been there. And I had to make sure. I even texted the gentleman again that's offered me the job, and I called him again. I said, "Hey, is this for real? Let's confirm. Am I really going next Tuesday?" "Yes, I'll be there." "Okay." I mean, it's so surreal that I had to verify, because I've always been a clear-cut, facts guy. That's why, I was taught not to believe in God, not to believe in spirituality, because it has to be there in black and white. It has to be physically able to see. And that's what I learned. If you have faith, things will come. And, if you walk that line and they tell you don't do drugs, don't do alcohol, don't abuse it or anything like that, you'll be fine. And that's how I feel about it. It's like it's an amazing reward to get something like that after so much struggle in my life. To where it hurts, because I was once successful, very successful. And to go from very successful to nothing, and then even to less than nothing and homeless, it made me think, what did I do wrong in life? Where did I go wrong? I walked the line. I didn't do the drugs. I didn't do anything like that. Why has God forsaken me? And I learned He's there. He's real. If you stay with it, stay with the process and the program, He'll take care of the rest. That's what I learned.
So you think this experience strengthened your faith?
Absolutely. Absolutely. More so. To where it's, there's nothing that I can discredit God. I mean, it's all there. It's all true. I put faith there. And I walk that line. And it's there.
Well, all right. Thank you, Victor, for sharing your story.
Thank you, guys.
It's an inspiring story.
Thank you. It's not finished.
That's right. It's not finished. Bye.